What is it that you love about being a mother? What is it that you love about your son? And give us the truth on motherhood that people might not know about, you know?
Well, what I love about motherhood, what I love about son, I love speaking life into him. Like, I love speaking life into him. I love it. That's like my favorite thing in motherhood, because I know that's my God-given right, and that's what he wants me to do. And I always tell people, you're your children's first voice. Like, here on earth, like, of course, they had that connection with God. You have to surrender them to God, but you're their voice, actual voice here on earth. And so you should be listening to God and how it takes to your children, and that is speaking life into them. That's my favorite thing about motherhood.
Spiritual Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Bigger, and I'm back again with another episode. And I'm so excited for this episode, this day, this moment. I got my beautiful sister, Erica Bigger, my oldest sister, Sis. Welcome to Spiritual Fitness. How are you, Sis?
Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. This is like a spur of the moment thing, but I think that's the perfect time to do it. That's when you're most authentic, genuine. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for having me on your platform. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I love you. So before we get into it, let's talk about your journey into your spirituality and religion and everything faith-based. Because I don't know the thing that you experienced through pregnancy, but I also want to integrate and add that into it and how that even deepen you into your faith. So I'll let you have the mic.
So I always grew up knowing God, knowing the church, but wasn't very religious. We wasn't like, oh, you gotta do this, do this, do this. Like, no, we know about God. But it wasn't I had my own life experiences that I deepened my own personal relationship with God. Just growing up as a Black woman in Baltimore City, just going through life. So I had to experience that for myself. But it wasn't until, like you said, my pregnancy, where I had a disease that's called HG, and it's a severe morning sickness. And I lost 30 pounds when I was pregnant. I was spitting out water. So that really depleted me. You can only imagine, mentally, physically, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. But I think everything in God has a way with dealing with us to get our attention. And so I think that's how he got my attention. And that's how I deepened my walk with knowing that it's not religion, it's definitely relationship. I mean, I always knew that, I always had that inkling in me. I always had that relationship. But at that point of time, it deepened my relationship to know like who he really was. And that's how I created my business. It gave me that extra oomph that I needed to get me over my hump with not dealing with postpartum. Like so many women deal with postpartum, and I would pray and say, God, please, I don't want to have postpartum. I went through all of this for 8-9 months to get this child into the world. Please give me something that's going to help get my focus and, get me back to me before, I had my son. And that was business. And that was creating a business for WhollyGloss that really got me focused back on myself, back on, a purpose-driven path. So I ultimately say that sometimes I would say like, my son saved my life, because you never know, he makes certain things happen. I believe God makes certain things happen to put you back on the right path, to make it all orchestrate together, to be what he wants you to be in his purpose, and in his will. So I would definitely say that definitely was a pain to purpose process for me.
Got it. Yeah, pain and purpose, they say the more pain, the more gain. But I think sometimes we stay in the pain because we don't see the gain that's foreseeing, to come with all the shadow and the darkness that's trying to take over our light. I want to talk a little bit, I'm kind of go, just because it's all just coming through me. So I want to first talk about, okay, I think you said HGH or HG?
Yes.
Right. Now, was that a form of postpartum depression, or is that something linked? Like, how do those coincide? Like, can you unpack it just a little bit more? So I want to talk about pregnancy and how women naturally just go through postpartum, and they get back into the workforce and they get back to living lives and taking care of kids and making money, when your body just went through a metamorphosis. Like, you just went through a whole rebirth, a death and rebirth, right? For a greater good, to receive a child into this world. Can you kind of connect the two so I can have a better understanding?
When I had the disease, I could not work. You know, some women, it's just, I believe it's like only 20% of women in America
Yeah.
can get this disease. So, you know, some women just had babies and they're fine. They go to work, they're good, but some women can't. So it really took a toll on me financially as well because you cannot work. I could not work. In the beginning, I tried, I would literally be there and they're like, Erica, you cannot. I believe I was doing like set work or retail. If you know me, I work on sets and stuff like that
Uh-huh.
with styling and costuming. I couldn't do it because I couldn't even at some point stand up. So it affected me financially too. But, you know, that's another thing. And another reason why I wanted to create a space besides my business, just to connect with women to find resources, meaning like, okay, we're going through this, but what if we don't have a support system? Is there any support systems out there, organizations that can help me? So that really drove me to find resources and to be able to have them for myself and to share for others. And I also believe that's why I went through what I went through is because I'm the type of person, if I have resources and things that I know other people can use, I'm going to be the first person to share it.
And it's interesting because when I look at your journey, like to give people like context, so Erica and I, my sister and I, we had the same dad, but had the same mom. So I believe 4 or 5 years older than me, right? But we do have the same energetics, as you can see. We got the same smile, just the energy, right? And
Yeah.
I remember I came to LA 2010. I remember you was already in New York. Like you was just like a free spirit. Like I'm going after my dreams. This is what I feel. This is what I do.
Mhm.
So I remember you living in New York for a few years. And I think you went back home, and then I think you came to LA. What I love about you, sis, that I want to acknowledge you and give you your flowers in this moment is that you've never gave up on entrepreneurship. You never gave up on creating something from your soul's consciousness or from your truth. You had the brand You Slept on Me. I remember that. You've done the styling thing, the fashion thing. You have WhollyGloss now, and probably so many other things that I've seen you tap into. But you have this knack for find an opportunity like you just spoke on resources, whereas ever applying for grants, getting funding, winning contests. Like you was just here in LA for we could talk about that as well. But I also know you was part of Goldman Sachs, small businesses for Black women. Can you kind of unpack that, and where does your drive and tenacity come to keep going and never give up and to live out your dreams through your heart and through your soul's purpose?
I think that changed when I got to go to Goldman Sachs. You know, you have people over there that you may feel have it all or they don't, but who's at the end of the day, who's going to show up? And so I believe because I showed up and I did the best that I could, that is why I was, chose for the program by God's grace, when people say like people are rooting for you, you don't even know. And I come to find out once I did get accepted to the program, the people who are actually teaching the class were people that I used to network with in DC, and I went through their program. And I'm for sure, they saw my name because I had a good and distinct relationship with them, that they knew who I was. They knew my name, they knew my brand. And so I truly believe in relationship building, being authentic and genuine, and being trustworthy. Um, you know, some people try to do things to, they say like fake it till you make it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, no, yeah, but no, because you have to at some point for your business to really, and for you as a person to be authentic, you have to be genuine, you have to be trustworthy. And I'm a big believer in that, in life, in business, and in anything. That's part of like my main morals and values, especially in business. Because I want people to treat my business how I would treat their business and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I believe I got that opportunity, and once I got in there, I made even more connections. So it's just like and it just rolls on. And so from there, they saw that I wasn't a joke. I was very passionate about it, not only for myself, but for all the other women in the room.
Everybody deserves to be seen, felt, and heard. And I think for years, sis, you've always had this desire to stand out and step up, and whether it was modeling, dancing, I mean, to being a mom, like your son, Braven, my nephew, he's such an incredible representation of you. He's your offspring. And I remember Marcel bring him out here to play basketball, and I've noticed his drive, like brave and heart, his desire, his mental fortitude to be something. And honestly, I believe and I know for sure he gets it from you. And from entrepreneurship to trying and doing all the things that you love, what is it that you love about being a mother? What is it that you love about your son? And give us the truth on motherhood that people might not know about.
Well, what I love about motherhood, what I love about son, I love speaking life into him. I love it. That's like my favorite thing in motherhood, because I know that's my God-given right, and that's what he wants me to do. And I always tell people, you're your children's first voice, like here on earth. Like, of course, they had that connection with God. You have to surrender them to God, but you're their voice, actual voice here on earth. And so you should be listening to God and how to take to your children, and that is speaking life into them. That's my favorite thing about motherhood, just speaking life. And as we are as women, the nurturing and the caring, that's my favorite part. Like, it fills me up. It's fulfilling. And it lets me know that if I continue on this road, I've already seen results of it.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get amplified as he gets older. It's going to be in different ways that I can share my wisdom and knowledge with him, um, and just see it soak into him and then flourish out. It's just what makes me happy.
And it's beautiful because I think a mother and a son dynamic is really like the relationship you will want to have or create with the creator that you believe in, right? And pouring into your son, they always say the way to the father is through the son. So the more you pour into your son, you connect to the God within the God that covers all of us, right? And for you, giving him that confidence, that nurturing, he's allowed to feel safe in his body, feel safe in his mind. He knows his mother loves him. I want you to share like this very maybe a spiritual connection you had before he was born about basketball and where he was in the womb. Can you kind of go over and share like what was that like for you? Because I feel like that was you tapping into your spiritual power and your connection to the divine, about you was already foreseeing what he was going to be.
Yeah, yeah. So of course. So I remember, like I said, I went through a very traumatizing time. I was depleted spiritually, mentally, physically. And I just remember one night, I just like, can I just please go to sleep? Because I used to have trouble sleeping too. And I had a dream, and I just heard like he was saying breathing, and I just saw these lights, and I couldn't
Now, was this when he was still in the womb, or this is at pulse?
or like I probably like 2 more months ago before, like his due date when he's supposed to come. And that was a dream, and he was just very it was just very vivid. And I heard his name, and I'm just like, wow. I'm just like, okay, maybe I fell asleep. I think I did fall. It was like the finals. It was like something on, something that everybody would want to watch, not just regular basketball. It was like the All-Star, the finals, something like that. I was like, and then I just put it together, and I'm like, basketball. Father knew nothing about it. And, like my friend had sent me something. She was like, me and his dad never talked about sports, even though he's a sports guy. And, my friend sent me something on Instagram, and I was just like, maybe I should take it to this. Something just gave me that inkling.
Yeah.
And I took him. I didn't tell him what to do. The coach, shout out to Coach Ralph with Taliball. He didn't tell him what to do. He had a whole bunch of balls. He gave him all the kids, and my son.
That part of spirituality that I've, knew for years, now that I know, I trust when I get like those downloads, or it might be I'm up 4 a.m. doing my prayer and meditation, and my spirit's like, call my aunt or call my sister. And I want to share, I know I'm going out of piece because I'm excited about the Spanx story I think you told me about when you went to the store, the mall, whatever the store was, that you moved your stuff up front. But I just let you speak from the heart because I'm excited.
Yes, WhollyGloss again. Yeah, it was born from, my traumatizing experience with pregnancy. And just one day I got up and I got a download like WhollyGloss. I'm like, but when I first came up with the name, I didn't even think like, oh, okay, holy. And then I did because I'm like, no, I don't want to smell it like holy. It took me a while to understand though. I didn't get it right off the break. I knew that it was a business to help me get over and God was helping me with whatever I was dealing with. But I did not, how I was presenting it and how I was going about it wasn't necessarily what he may have had for it. So it took me time to like get the marketing and the messaging and what I should be sharing and how I should be doing it. Just because I wasn't all the way focused. But now I'm in that space where, I'm learning more myself. So now I can apply it how I apply it to my personal life. I can apply it to my business life. So yeah, it's like you just had that moment like, oh, holy, but some women be like, girl, this is called holy loss. I don't
But you know why? This was so unique by the creativity behind it because I know how it's spelled. WHOLLY. So I'm not thinking about like, yeah, Holy God. Then I'm like, we talked about God in the beginning of the episode. I'm like, clearly, Holy Gloss is gonna make you holy. Gloss.
Yeah, and it's a struggle for me sometimes because I take my relationship with God so seriously. I don't ever want to cross over, making money in business with trying to use him as a ploy to make money. No, I want to use him to so people can receive him and his goodness, and his mercy and, just his love. So I want to permeate that in myself. So when my customers come to me, I can give that to them. That's what I'm focusing on more now and building my community so I can pour on women in that. So I can speak that into them, speak life into them, speak the truth about who he is, his word. And the at this point the lip gloss is secondary. First, really my motto now is for the business beauty from the inside out, which I always believed that it was. But, I had to get my messaging together. I had to get me together. And that's just honest. So, yeah.
Yeah. So right now, where's it been? So because it's online, but I know you had like some pop-ups and stuff like that. Where should we get, where can we get some Holy Gloss?
Just on our website right now. So WHOLLY gloss at .com. Hopefully we'll be in some retail stores soon. Well, in some like major pop-ups, exclusive pop-ups that's not only about the gloss, but about the community sharing free resources. I want to love all beauties. I want to speak life into them. I want them to know the truth. I want them to live their best life. That's what my community is about. And that gloss is just secondary, because we love to look beautiful, pretty. But, that's secondary. I want to be authentic and true because ultimately when I do this, it not only helps heal them, but it's healing me because I know I'm doing the work
Yeah.
what God wants me to do. And that's to feed positivity and love to his daughters. We get attention from men, but I noticed we struggle for that for years, Black women loving on each other. And I wanted to be in a real and authentic way.
Yeah. And I think when I think about holy gloss, if I flip it and call gloss holy, it's like the essence of who you are is in you that makes people want to be in business with you because the gloss, the glow that's holy within you makes you holy, the gloss that people want to come and be a part of to tap into the God frequency within that you give through the gloss because that's literally God in your product. Right. Just like with spiritual fitness, is miracle season. Yeah, these names are cool, but it's God, but it's through you, the vessel that it came through. And I always tell people intuition is God thoughts through you, and discernment is God giving you signal, right? It's just God coming through you, boom, boom. But sometimes we look for logic, we look for knowledge, but the real wisdom is within. And you can't just find that. You got to be that by holding space to receive the God, the holy, the gloss, the glow of the divine spirit that's within you that you can live out and step into. And then when you do that over time, because like you said, the work works over time, you will be overflow in abundance of everything you ever wanted without looking for it. Because you're the walking embodiment of what you're giving people to the world instead of like, oh, here's my gloss, come buy it. Like, no, you're buying you that's holy, that's glowing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I want to make it very clear that it takes work. Like it took work on my end. Like it's gonna take work on your end, like anything. that's worth, being true and authentic, and that's really gonna move people and not even move them, but transform them. Meaning like today I'm gonna change. Today I'm not gonna do that anymore. Today I'm gonna be a better person today. And that's what's most important to me. I don't want to just give you this product and you leave. No, I want you to leave with something that's gonna make you think and carry over. It may not be today, but it's gonna affect you and impact you in a way that's gonna transform you to better yourself, to better your community, your family, and so forth. And that's what's really important to me. That's a big thing to say, but when you with God, it's little, because
Yeah, hey, that's priceless. And it's
listen,
everything.
this is that you just have to be obedient, and you cannot put a cap on him. You can't outthink him, you can't overthink him. He has it all figured out. You just have to be in line. And once we get to learn that, which I still am learning, because it's a process. We have to shut off old ways of thinking and we have to loosen up and just really let him get in there and do what he needs to do. And I think through my business, it's also a surrender. Like people think, you have to surrender yourself and get saved. But like when you have a business too and you want to be walking with him in your business and you want him to help you with your business, you have to surrender your business then. You can't control that thing. You have to surrender it. You might get this deal and you might think it's, oh, this is like, if God say no, then he's obviously protecting you from something and you have to listen, because ultimately what's better, you get that deal or your peace of mind and your safety. So, yeah.
Yeah, surrender the business to God, and it's like surrendering the pen of you trying to write your life or your plan, and God has the plan. So you surrender your pen, like, okay, God, take over, write this story for me, because you can write a better story than me. You can plan better than me, right? And I want to talk about a few scriptures before I ask you the question on spiritual fitness. One of my favorite quotes in the Bible is in Proverbs. It's my favorite one of King Solomon. Proverbs 4:7, and all you're getting, get understanding. We're always trying to get more money, more opportunity, more followers, or like whatever. But do we understand what we're getting? And does it make sense not to have the knowledge of it, but the wisdom that it cultivates by having these things? Because some of us have things, but we don't even understand why we have them. We know them, but we don't
Right.
understand them. It's like, I know you, my sister, but I didn't understand that's how your name and your business for WhollyGloss came about. So that's why we had to have conversation, right? We have to talk about it. We can't assume without knowing to get the understanding. And then beyond that, you are the walking embodiment and testament to all women out there. Go read Proverbs 31. It's a beautiful scripture about a woman who takes what's given to her and she amplifies it with her choice, her desire, her strength, her consistency, her discipline, and faith in God, faith in the Creator to know I'm building and I'm given to take care of my family, to be cultivated and appreciated with a strong spiritual foundation through God, through my relationship, not my religion. You get what I'm saying? And I think sometimes we perceive the perception of things is not the reality of it. And so the perception goes over the head and we forget the reality. Going to
Yeah.
church or going into your spirit is kind of like for me going to the gym. Like, okay, if I go to the gym every day and I went to my Bible, whatever I believe in every day, what would be different? Things will amplify because I'm pouring into that part of me for my business to grow, for my life to go, for my relationships to grow, for my conversations to grow. So I just want to say thank you, sis, for your time, your vulnerability, sharing your story, your truth, your pain, and this healing, testimony of WhollyGloss, having a son, postpartum. But my last question to you, before I ask all your links and stuff to give the audience, when you think about spiritual fitness, what does that mean to you from your consciousness?
So spiritual fitness is basically tearing down everything you think to get yourself right and get in line with him and he's telling you exactly you need to do this many, you know what I'm saying? But also understanding that he does give grace, but you should also, I forgot what scripture is. You should have trembling fear for him. So meaning like, if I don't, you have to get fit, meaning like fit in your mind in a sense of it's a goal that I must achieve. When you're on your fitness journey and you're spiritually fit with that, it's like you have to get so disciplined and focused that, you know, you're never going to waver. You know how you see some people in the gym and they like, you be like, oh shucks, they ain't leaving until they get this right, or they in there every day because they're like, they about their life. And so what I feel about spiritual fitness and how I want to approach it is that I want to get fit in my spirit where I'm about that life. And when you look at my spirit, you be like, hey,
Yeah, you holy gloss, Holy Spirit. Yeah.
you got that together. Like you put that together, you know, and that's only from the inside, you know. And I'm just trying to get a metaphor from it, you know, when we get fit from the outside. But it's just like that's how I like to permeate myself.
I want to share something that I learned from you to kind of give people context, because I think the way people look at God and religion is the same way people look at life and health in the body, right? So you said a word, and I remember said we had this deep conversation months ago about fear and fearing God, right? The word fear. And you told me something, sis, that's always resonated was reverence, right? I have reverence for God. I have reverence for my body. I have reverence for my health and well-being. I don't fear the gym. I don't fear my spirit. I don't fear the church. I don't fear that. I have reverence because depending on where you are on your spiritual journey, your consciousness, your understanding, people take that word and they twist it and it keeps them away from the spirit or from the holy that wants to gloss their soul for their benefit. And the word reverence came to me because I think that's what we all deserve to have for ourselves, for our spirit, for our mind, for our business, for everything, our finances, for how we look. You have reverence for how you show up. You have reverence for being a mom. You have reverence for stepping into your power and listening to that God within that's giving you, this is how you should create this business. No, don't take that fund and go to this fund and go to Goldman Sachs. Go to this event and fly to Vegas and do the pop-up. You know, like you're having that reverence. You're listening because you trust it. You don't fear it. And I feel like when people walk in fear, it's like they don't have the reverence for themselves to know that that's not real or something they're creating based on that lack of that in their life. And so I just appreciate you being a powerful leader in that way. And how can we get connected? I know you gave the WhollyGloss website, but what are your social channels? How can we work with you one-on-one? I know you got an email list. I'll put everything in the show notes, but can you just share how people can find you and get into your vortex?
I'm on Instagram, Erica YNB. That's Erica YNB. You can find me on, that's my personal page. And then Holy Gloss is it's on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course again the website hollygloss.com. I do have an email list that you can get on. I also do consulting. I'm an advocate again for small businesses, big businesses, entrepreneurs, corporations. So just I'm here.
There we go. Well, thank you, sis. I love you. People, listen to this episode, share it,
Yeah.
DM her on Instagram, follow her, go to the website, buy 10 of them. You know, the holidays are around the corner, you know, give it increase, give it your, you know, your spirit and just give. And, you know, I'm just really thankful for you, sis. Thank you for joining Spiritual Fitness. People, go to YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the channel. Let's win, let's love, and let's get that holy gloss. All right, sis. I love you. Be great. Peace.
Bye.